Hello, welcome back to the PoddiMouths podcast. I am Peyton Cubic, and this is where my dad and his friend John talk about random stuff in life or the things they found on the internet. I hope you enjoy listening to this episode as much as I did. Here they are now.
What in the world are you drinking?
Protein shake.
With vodka?
Oh, what?
Why not? Bourbon.
Oh,
actually,
gosh.
a protein shake with bourbon might actually
would be fine
good.
because it'd be chocolate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, vodka with chocolate.
I thought, well, from this camera angle, when you hold it up, it actually looks like strawberry to me. It looks red. It doesn't look brown. So,
okay.
Vodka with strawberry would be good.
That would be good.
Or rum. I think they call that a
I'm getting thirsty.
Yeah. Not a pina colada. What's the other one? Daiquiri. I think they call that a daiquiri.
That's rum, though. Not vodka.
Well, okay. Put rum in it then.
Rum.
No, I've had a vodka daiquiri before.
No, you haven't.
I don't think they call
You're
it a
a
daiquiri.
liar.
I'm not a liar.
They don't call it a daiquiri. I had a vodka daiquiri. Of course, it's not called a daiquiri.
No, it's. I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like a Bloody Mary versus a
screwdriver.
No, a Bloody Mary. What was I calling my gin Bloody Mary?
I forget.
Shit.
No, that's not what you called it.
No, because it's actually really good.
That's what you said.
I'll think of it when I'm not trying to think of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is how most things work with us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've got news. John.
Come on.
I've got good news and I've got not good news, which isn't actually bad news. So that's why I say it that way.
You have good and medium news.
I have good and medium news.
Which is the one you're going to lead with because it doesn't matter.
I'm going to lead with the news. So the last episode we were talking about the house that we put a contract on, right?
Yep. Did
we discuss how that contract we were getting very frustrated because the real estate agent wouldn't turn so in our it's called Real Tracks in Tennessee. I don't know if they have it in other places. I know this one is particular to Tennessee because I've never been able to look at houses outside of it. So it is the MLS system here in Tennessee.
Okay.
So it's
like
called
realtrack.com, realtracks.com or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we use Real Tracks, and that's how I usually search for the houses because that's what all of the real estate agents use. Mm-hmm. Well, in the system, if a house is for sale without a contract, it's green. When it has a contract on it, it's yellow.
Oh.
The real estate agent for that other house didn't want to change it to yellow.
Didn't want to.
Now, they wrote it into the contract because in Tennessee, it's actually a law that you have to when the house is under contract, unless you have a specific stipulation in there that it all has to do with the house contingency and the contract, the way it's written to get out of the contingency and blah, 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 blah. So, but most real estate agents, I would say 99% of the real estate agents just turn it to yellow because the reason they do this, and my real estate agent is the one who told me this, the reason they do that is now people outside know that the house is under contract, and if they're willing to actually put another offer in, that offer is usually higher.
Interesting. Right? Okay.
So it's actually a good thing to show a house. So
why would the agent not switch it to?
That's what we couldn't figure out.
Okay.
And so we're just saying, oh, well, whatever, if they are required no matter what to disclose that there's a contract on the house, whether it's green or yellow or whatever. Mm-hmm. I finally gave up. I'm like, okay, as long as they have to disclose that there's a contract, I'm, whatever. Sure. It's fine. And I'm thinking, and so did my real estate agent, well, if they leave it green, that doesn't guarantee they're going to get a better offer. They just might get another offer, and it's not necessarily better because, our offer was stout, and we did that on purpose because we have a home contingency. I mean, we didn't go quite in at full price, but a few $1,000s less, which, is what, $1 or $2 on your payment. Mm-hmm. But we were almost full price on the house and very lenient on all of our terms. Mm-hmm. So we get a note from our real estate agent yesterday that, and they have to give us a 48-hour right of refusal if they get another contract, but they got another contract.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was a better one, but I do know there was no contingency. So we're like, yeah, no. We're out. And actually it was strange because I think at some level, all three of us were like relieved that we didn't get this house. Even though we liked it, it was good. And you got to keep in mind too, John, when I'm talking about all of this, the intention isn't to find our next
forever
house,
home.
forever home. This
Yeah.
is supposed to be an investment property at some point. We're only going to live there a couple of years. So no one's truly 100% invested in any of the houses that we've been looking at. So it wasn't really that much of a disappointment to any of us. And in fact, it was kind of a relief. And it was very strange because out of all the houses, we did really like this house, but it wasn't. Yeah. So anyway, we lost that contract, which is, we're okay with it.
Do you know
and that's why I'm saying it's not bad news. No, because they won't tell you that.
They
won't tell you that.
Well, it seems like a realtor would be able to find out.
You would think, but yeah, no, that's legally they're not allowed to disclose until it's actually closed. They're pretty good around here about stuff like that. But it's even our real estate agent said there are just some shady agents out there that they don't want to follow the rules, and they'll find. I mean, I guess that's in any business, people that just don't like to follow the rules or do stuff that actually, helps everybody in the process. But anyway, and I think part of that, the whole thing with that and the earnest money that I sent was, and this was not the agent or anything. This was actually my agent's company that handles all earnest money. But I with that agent acting the way that he was, and then the earnest money that was supposed to be, it was an ACH transfer, so it should have been almost instant. And then even when we called the broker, I can't remember the name of the company, but when we called them, they said, "Oh, it could take up to 3 days." It was sat in my account for 6 days before it left. And it also triggered something in my bank account where my bank account got locked because of the way they were testing the account to see if the money was there.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm not getting the warm and fuzzy about any of this.
Sure.
So like I said, it's a relief. Now it's going to take me probably a month to get my earnest money back, but
it's just an escrow, right? It's
an escrow.
Okay. Weird.
But it took so long to get out,
Yeah.
and this place doesn't seem to move very quickly. So,
so any more action on your house?
No, we have an open house tomorrow, which will be Sunday, folks. So we'll see. But no, not really. And we're kind of getting. I know we shouldn't get defeated yet because it hasn't even been a full 2 months. But I think we're all kind of like, let's figure out when we're going to say that's enough, and just because like I said before, no complaints, no one balking at the price. Price per square foot is lower than anyone else in the area for a house this size. And it's, nothing, just nothing.
Weird.
We don't want to lower the price again. But yeah, so that's my okay news. My not bad, but not great.
Where's the amazing news?
Well, I didn't say amazing. I never once said amazing.
I may be putting words in your mouth, but let's say let's just say it's amazing. Let's just pretend.
It's not. I can't go with the amazing. But
what's not terrible?
It's good news.
But good.
It's not terrible.
Okay.
I'm stalling now because I'm sending you a picture.
Okay. Because I get to see the good news.
Yeah.
All right. Lay it on me. And then I'll be the judge.
I just sent it.
I'll be the judge of that.
You should send it. You should open it.
Well, I plan to.
And this is dead air, folks.
That's very nice. We do dead. I think they're used to dead air.
They better be.
You got me flowers. That is good news.
No, I got Jennifer flowers, but that is the good news. It is officially CSA season.
So yes.
We started doing we took a couple of years off from the CSA, and
this is not getting better. Sorry,
I can still see
washing out,
but
it is on your phone.
So I went to pick up the CSA box today, and I got some hydrangeas for Jen.
What all is in the box, though? And how big was it?
It's a lot of lettuce. It's a bushel.
Oh,
it's a bushel.
Okay.
Because the bushel's the smaller one. I had to ask too, because they're like, "Did you get a bushel or a half a peck?" I'm like, "Oh, which one's the smallest?"
Bushel and a peck.
That's the one I got.
I thought a peck was smaller. Okay, peck's bigger.
It could be. Yeah, a bushel and a peck.
So which one's smaller?
I don't know.
I know.
Well, and I think the giveaway there is it's a half a peck. It's a bushel or half a peck. So I'm thinking, now I got to look it up now because I feel like I've forgotten. And I'm probably getting this wrong.
But I don't know. I thought a peck was big or was smaller, but I don't know that. I very seldom. You know what? I went to get laundry detergent, and I said I need like a peck of laundry detergent, and they didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh,
so sometimes I order that way.
1 peck equals 0.25 bushels.
So
a peck is
smaller.
Correct.
It's a quarter of a bushel.
Yeah, and that's what isn't that what I said?
Right. No.
Did I say it backwards?
Yeah.
Is a bushel?
I love you, a bushel and a peck. You bet your pretty neck I do. I don't know that song clearly, but I know the words.
A peck is smaller, dry volume weight. Okay. Yeah. So I guess I went backwards. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
No. I got one. That's all that matters.
You got a bushel or you got a peck?
I got the small one.
You got a peck.
Or did I get a bushel?
Did you ever watch?
Which one did we just say was smaller?
Peck is smaller. 0.25 bushel. Come on.
Yeah, I got a peck. But isn't that what I said at the beginning?
No, it's not what you said. You said you got a bushel.
Oh.
Because there's no way I can handle a peck.
Well, we used to get a half a peck.
Whatever. I just remember Ghostbusters.
Uh-huh.
He was the guy from the government. And Mr. Pecker here, it's Peck.
Yeah. He was in the newest one, too.
Was he?
Yeah.
Great. I didn't
Have you
see
seen
the newest one.
You need to see the newest one.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You need to see both of the new ones. Because they pick right. I mean, they're all in it. And they're all, it's not like the female version.
Yep.
Which, so have we talked about the female version before? I feel like
not at length.
Okay, I'm not going to go complain about it then.
Well, you can. I
mean, the biggest thing is
the whole thing. That's what I think.
It wasn't originally supposed to be. Okay, so the way I heard Dan Aykroyd say it was, it shouldn't have been a Ghostbusters. It should have been a parody of the Ghostbusters. So it should, if it was a true parody of the Ghostbusters, it would have been a more successful movie. They wouldn't have had to change anything. Just imply that it was a parody.
Okay.
Because it did not continue the story. The original Ghostbusters were all in there playing different characters. Yeah. So that it just doesn't fit in the whole universe. And I think a lot of people are upset because, oh, well, you're just dogging because it was a bunch of females. And even Dan Aykroyd said, no, if they wanted to make an actual Ghostbusters movie and use women as the main characters, by all means do it.
Well, he would say that.
Stay true to the story.
He would say that, but yeah, it was whatever. It just cheapened it in my.
It did,
and this comes from somebody who has watched. It was the only movie Lisa and I had when we first moved to Chicago.
Right.
And what I mean by the only movie is the only movie. We watched it.
You wore out the
honestly
the VHS
at least
tape.
50 times. It was a VHS. At least 50 times. And so I can pretty much walk through the entire movie.
Now I wish it were fall because I'm already ready to start watching them all again.
It's a great one.
Yeah, and I will say, well, I own the female version.
Okay,
I own that one. I like it, but I agree with Dan Aykroyd. It should have been a parody. It should not have fallen anywhere in the universe, which it doesn't fall in the universe, but it's not. It is not a Ghostbusters movie.
Okay,
it really isn't.
But Mr. Peck was in the most recent one.
He was in the most recent one. Yep. Yeah, playing. He actually played the mayor.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well, he was.
So his political career didn't end in the 1980s.
Well, he was also in what's our favorite Christmas movie?
Christmas Vacation. Oh, Die Hard. It's not my favorite Christmas movie.
Oh, it is too.
It isn't.
It's everyone's. You know that.
I am one of those, and I get lambasted for it. I'm one of those that does not consider that a Christmas movie.
I do. It's funny just because it's only funny because the New York guy, the cop, he's Merry Christmas, pal. And it just that makes it a Christmas movie in my mind. But yeah,
interesting.
It's not Christmas movie.
Do you think Love Actually is a Christmas movie?
Oh my gosh. I think I've seen that once and I'm not a fan, so
see, I love that. I do consider it a Christmas movie. Goonies. It is not my favorite Christmas movie, but I do like that movie. Did you see that they are officially greenlighting again, I'm saying it again, a Goonies remake.
No, gosh, I missed that.
Let's all lift. Let's all start doing a sign-in petition saying that we don't want that to happen. Yeah, it was recently the 40-year anniversary of the Goonies release. Yep.
Yeah,
or the start of the Goonies, because the Goonies I think was released in '86. So next year should technically be 40.
Yeah,
but they were doing some sort of reunion. I saw on the net, the interwebs.
The Breakfast Club, they did the same thing.
Yes, they did.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Great movie. Great freaking movie. Now I gotta go watch movies all day.
Oh my gosh.
If I didn't have to clean the house and put away my peck.
Well, boy, that's almost too easy.
Yeah, I know. That's why I set you up.
Can't believe you're cleaning the house.
I set you up. Yeah. I can just hear Eric just going nuts right now.
Yes, of course.
I could have done that one
in his sleep.
I would have gone after that one
in his sleep. He would have, and that's
in his sleep.
We have to leave that to our loyal, faithful viewers and listeners.
Yep.
So there.
Exactly. Speaking of, I owe Bill. So we were talking about not money. Okay. Maybe money.
You probably
could probably go there. Probably. So we were on the last episode discussing the sensors that plug in. I want to get one that I can plug in and see what the codes are flying. That the codes are being sent, so you can compare it to your phone. The what are the OBD sensors?
Yep.
So or scanners. So Bill Taylor, right after he listened to the episode, said he had a chance to listen to the podcast and would like to offer some information on scan tools and code readers. He recently bought a Top-Don Top Scan
that
operates through his phone. It goes pretty deep into your vehicle system, but it's under $60.
Oh,
cheaper code readers may be more appropriate for your needs and are under $25. Wow. I wrote an article about your options for your reading pleasure.
Where would you find that?
You would find that at VehicleNanny.com.
VehicleNanny.com. N-A-N-N-Y, just like it sounds.
Exactly. And if you're really so inclined, you can find that at PoddiMouths.com. There is a drop down for all of the folks that have graced our airwaves on the PoddiMouths podcast, and you can get right to Vehicle Nanny. And I told him I would be more than happy, since we talked about it now twice, to put that link up in that particular link up on the website.
That would be good.
I said, just give me about 6 months.
Yeah, you're not really quick about making updates.
No, I have to put
a job.
I have to put it in a sprint.
That's
and that's a deep cut for another one of our listeners.
The other thing we need to
chuckling.
The other thing we need to do is suggest for Bill his next undertaking, which would be for the older crowd, Vehicle Granny. I think would probably be.
I think you've mentioned that before.
I don't think I have, but it would take a really smart man to have said twice.
It would.
But I think that would be good for elderly.
Well, I don't listeners. Know. And Bill, please let us know. I'm not sure. I don't see you as old enough yet, but I don't know. Does any of Bill's kids have kids of their own yet?
Oh, sure.
Oh, so he is a grandpa.
Certain. I think he is, but I could be wrong.
So he's got Vehicle Nanny. Then his wife can start the podcast Vehicle Granny.
Yeah, but as with what you have to be sensitive to the nomenclature, because
yes, I know.
I told Lisa.
I said that as soon as that came out of my mouth.
No. When we were going to become grandparents, I threatened Lisa in a good way with Meemaw, which is very Kentucky and not so much Lisa.
Yeah.
And she said, every time you say that, every time I'm getting a new pair of shoes.
Oh, I think she just got a new pair of shoes.
Genius. Well, no, it's too late now. Now she's Nana, and that is the naming convention that her granddaughter has taken.
Mother-in-law is Mona, is Nana.
Nana and Papa.
There's Nana and Papa.
Papa. Now that's a Kentucky one.
Yeah. Well, Papa East Tennessee as well. Yep. Yeah. And we always threatened my mom before she passed away of different names, but then she ended up being Granny Franny.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that.
No. She still hated it. I think she wanted to be Aunt something. I'm sure.
We preface almost everything with, we've talked about this before, but after 7 years, it's probably true.
We probably have talked about it before.
How it's changed in referring to grandparents. We used to call my grandma by her last name, Grandma Shurman, as opposed to Grandma Regina. And I don't know in what generation it changed. I guess.
Not my generation, because mine was Grandma Cubic and Grandpa Cubic.
Yeah, so we had that. Yep. And I guess our grandkids, or our son actually, calls Grandma Lois. But he had 2 or 3. He had a few grandmas. So Grandma Connie, Grandma Lois, Grandma Peggy. The mixed family.
Well, and I also think it has to do. So I called my dad's parents Grandma Cubic and Grandpa Cubic, but my cousins all called them Baka and Bapa or something like that.
Okay.
The Polish names for Grandma and Grandpa. So they didn't add the last name in there. But on my mom's side, my grandma and grandpa I didn't call them Grandma and Grandpa. I call them Oom and Pa.
Okay.
Which is the Dutch Oma and I don't know what the full whatever the full grandpa is. He passed away when I was 3, I think, 2 or 3. So I never really. I mean, it was always in the past, but
sure.
So maybe it's something a little bit more to do with that. I don't know.
I don't know.
It'd be interesting.
Interesting, but it's just an observation. I don't think it means anything.
But that's a very good observation.
Well,
I don't say that very often to you.
No, not to me. Speaking of observation, if you've been watching, my apologies for drinking my protein shake. I was at the gym. Blah blah blah. I won't get into all that. However, what I will get into is, if I may, and Nick, if I'm taking us on a different route, I know you're used to it. I have been fasting, or was fasting, for 42 hours or 43 hours or something like that, and had like 2 burgers last night, just little tiny burgers from Culver's.
Okay, so like sliders side, or even
they were small, bigger. No buns, just the meat and a little side salad, and that's all I've had in 3 days. So I got done at the gym and I'm like, a little lightheaded maybe. And I thought, I better have a shake. So anyway, I finished it because I needed to get a little sustenance.
Yeah, because listening to me makes everyone lightheaded.
No, that's not everyone, but just most people.
Most people.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry about that. And it's gone now, so I will stop wiping off my face and that.
And that. And on that note, no,
not yet. Wow, that was. Some people would say, "Yes, sorry, you're not done with us yet."
Not yet.
No.
Soon. You notice I'm wearing a hat today. John ordered me to wear a hat today. So.
Ordered, I recommended.
You ordered. No, it was no recommendation.
You're right.
You're wearing a hat.
You. That's exactly what I said. Fortunately, I didn't type it in caps. It was
right, and you said
lowercase.
The lighting was just way off for you because it was shining off of my head.
You're the one who has the perfect studio lighting. Mine is always like the Bat Cave.
It's not really at all because So first off, I'm sitting in front of 2 big windows.
Okay.
So when it's sunny outside, I got a lot of really good light.
You've never told me that.
Yeah, I'll take a picture of my setup so you can see. But today is rainy and thunderstormy.
Oh.
So it is, I do have a desk lamp, and that's all I've got. So I don't want to hit the dogs.
Don't hit the doggies.
All right, I'll send you that.
I smiled too, so it's going to.
Oh, good.
Well, it'll make it a much more valuable photo.
I'm sure. Yep. I'm sure. Will you sign it for me?
I doubt it. No, not.
There you go.
In
you
the
should have
absence
it
of
now.
cash. I do, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to show all our viewers and our listeners, who are no doubt enthralled.
Enthralled.
Oh, this is nice. That's very nice. That's
which is a little bit different from my setup before.
I am a handsome lad.
You really are. You really are.
I'm really not. But
so
a little washed out.
I'm calling this the gonna move setup because previously this desk that you just saw in that picture was over to my left against the wall, which still had very good light because these windows are, I know that picture doesn't do it justice, but these windows are massive.
Yeah, they're huge.
So I was over here, and then I had another desk that was sitting what would be behind me.
Okay.
So it was kind of an L shape. So I had my standing desk, and then I had a regular desk. We moved that desk out, and it's in storage. And then I put this towards the wall just to make the room feel a little bit bigger because I don't use it. That's the other thing. I work from an office now for 4 to 5 days a week. Like this week I came home early on Thursday because it was, in the car business. Wednesday was month end close. Thursday, while we were busy, we weren't necessarily close busy. And then I decided to work. Everyone basically decided to work from home on Friday, which we were able to do. Technically, my group is only, and I'm putting quotes in the air, required, and because it's not even really a requirement, it's just what the group decided on, to be in the office 3 days a week.
Okay.
But we tend to be there 5 days a week. So I don't use my office like I used to. And Jen does come up here every once in a while when she needs a little bit of space. But yeah, so it's really just, we're, just keeping it ready to sell.
Nice.
And
how much?
So I've got my desk.
Yep.
And I've got a chair and a lamp over in the corner, which you can't see the chair and the lamp because it's around the corner. But
yes, and you blurred the background. Cheater.
Yeah, so, but that's just a little reading area, reading nook.
Nice.
There's a closet over here.
How much stuff do you have in storage?
A lot.
Well,
a lot of stuff.
Tell me like garage size.
Well,
so
okay.
if you had
that's,
like a single car garage, how many of those?
We have
15.
That's hard to say because we have 2 storage units.
Okay.
We had an existing storage unit that we put all of the dance studio stuff in, and that's a 10 by 10.
That doesn't count though because it's it does, but it doesn't.
Well, it does because we didn't fit all of the studio stuff in that storage unit, so there was a lot of studio stuff in the house.
But it was fair point.
So the new storage unit is 10 by 15, I think.
Okay.
Which is a 1-car garage.
Okay.
Half of it is full of the other studio stuff, and then the other half is stuff from the house.
Oh, that's not bad. I was envisioning like a 2-car garage and then plus the studio stuff.
And we have a 2-car garage here.
Yeah.
And that has stuff in it too. So we're only able to fit the Jeep in the garage.
Okay. But that's workable and for showings. Yes. If you can show one empty spot at least.
Well, we don't because the Jeep just sits because we have 3 cars.
Not empty. One spot that'll fit a car.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And we chose the Jeep because it's the smallest of well, it's not the smallest of the 3 necessarily, but it's the shortest of the 3.
Okay. How are you liking your new one?
I love it.
Good.
It's phenomenal. I wish I could tell everyone, shout from the rooftops what it is, but it drives, and this is, I was telling some of my coworkers, it drives just like my Mercedes drove, and it's an SUV.
Nice.
And it's not a 4-wheel. I got the 2-wheel drive, so it's not an all-wheel drive, but it holds the road like my Mercedes did. It doesn't have the power. It is a little bit underpowered, but everything inside is premium. Like it has heated and ventilated seats.
Nice.
I have a 12 speaker system, and it's a one-of-a-kind system because the partnership that we have with a certain brand, it's the only vehicle that they've ever put all the stuff in, and they worked hand in hand with the engineers to put it in. So the speaker system is, like I said, one of a kind. They actually redesigned the door panels so the door acts as a speaker box rather than having speaker boxes in it. So the doors, when you close them, if you took an old because this is the refresh for 2025, this particular one, if you took the old doors, it felt like a regular foreign brand, very light, like it felt like a Nissan. You close the door, it's thin, it's this closes like a Mercedes door. It's heavy, it's full, and there's so much sound stuff in those doors. Yeah, and it's phenomenal.
Nice.
I am very much impressed. And for the price point of this car, you're basically buying, and I hate to use it again, but you're basically buying a Mercedes for the cost of a Rogue.
Wow. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am thoroughly impressed. Now, are there little things that, do they pay attention to 100% to the certain quality aspects of it? No. Like my sunglass holder, it doesn't seat perfectly, you know. So there's little things that
Sure.
only someone like me would notice. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it drives well. It's yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
I really do like it a lot.
And what you said about two-wheel drive versus two-wheel drive typically has a nicer ride anyway. And, you know,
Yeah.
we've had four-wheel drive for quite some time. So you tend to forget that two-wheel drive actually is a pretty nice ride.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that
Front-wheel drive, by the way, folks, front-wheel drive.
Yeah, well, that's great. Which will be fine in the snow when you get it.
Oh, yeah. I
4 times a year.
I think I've said before, I put more four-wheel drive cars in the ditch than I ever did front-wheel drive cars.
That could be you, though.
It could be. I doubt it.
All I know is you with the window down going like that, and then in the ditch.
Yep.
Well, saying.
Yeah. Most of the time it was on purpose.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You don't do a Yahoo unless it's about to be on purpose.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, it is a great car, great color.
Good.
Great interior.
Well, you showed pictures, and it's very attractive. It's very nice.
It's very attractive. I'm thoroughly impressed. But I will say this is something that we've heard from a lot of the dealers is people are a little hesitant because it is a smaller brand. People are a little hesitant, but the minute they sit in it, they buy it.
Have you seen? That's awesome. Have you seen any of the new electric trucks like the Slate?
Yes.
And gosh, I can't think of the other one. It's 4 letters. It's got an O and an I and a EIEIO, I think it's called. Just kidding.
I have not
like
seen
a
that
flat front pickup.
Okay.
It's almost like the old Ford Econoline, which had no hood at all. It was like flat, like a cab over sort of a thing. Anyway, that is a 450 horsepower or something like that.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy. And it tows 10,000 pounds or anyway.
Jeez.
I saw a YouTube video.
I haven't seen that one.
Well,
and I have seen a lot of the Slate though.
The Slate is cool.
I think the Slate's cool, and the Slate's cool not for any other reason than do you have to take that, John?
Nope. Thanks for asking.
It's cool for no other reason than it really could possibly turn the entire auto industry on its head. Not because it's an electric car.
No.
And for those of you who don't know much about the Slate, Bill, I am waiting for your next article on the Slate because I would love the Vehicle Nanny to
I'd like to know his
bust
take
this one
for
wide
sure.
open. Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you based on what I've seen. They are they fit and actually create and define a niche.
Yes.
Because they've gone for something that you said it perfectly, that it just happens to be electric. It's not, proclaiming, look at me, I'm electric. It makes sense that it is because of how the truck is designed. And if you're not familiar with the Slate, it's a small pickup that is kind of like a transformer. And what I mean by that is you can personalize it, you can custom tailor it however you want, from adding badges on the dashboard to turning it into an SUV by yourself. You don't have to take it to a dealer to do it. And
at any time, you can buy the 2-seat truck.
Yep.
And you can have it for 5 years and then decide, I want to turn it into an SUV now.
And you can.
Yep.
And it is an electric motor, which is great because one of the YouTube videos, the guy pops the hood. And if you want to ever do work on your Slate and it's this big cavernous open spot, you don't really have to do any work on it because the motor is not there. So it was kind of cool. And this is my mom. This is how she calls.
Hi, Mom.
Love you, Mom. I'm not going to take your call because I tried her twice and she assumes when it goes to voicemail, well, I should call again. Yeah, that's not a good impression of my mom, but
it's a generational thing.
Yes, it definitely is. So anyhow, but the Slate's pretty cool. Here's what I'm most impressed with. It is it's going to be, as they claim, under $20,000.
Yeah.
This other tiny truck, to start. So you add things, and of course, it'll cost you more from there.
Well, I think we need to back up before you get to the other truck because that's the third time you need to pick it up, John.
Honestly. No, but I'm going to. Well, hi, you're insistent. Hello. Good gracious. And she hung up on me. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, moms.
It has been, and of course, when she calls and I pick up, it automatically goes to speaker, which would have been funny. And I said, funny. You're insistent, and she just click. Oh, I love my mom. I called her twice this morning at different times, not one right after the other. But
how old is she again?
Yeah, mom is 96.
96. So she's actually older than my mother, or my wife's grandmother, Fei, who is 90. I think she just turned 93 or is about to turn 93.
They probably go to the same meetings.
They probably do. Is she in Cape Girardeau, Missouri?
No,
what a spunky lady. She is now my ex-girlfriend because she used to call me her boyfriend because I was, anytime I would be visiting the dealership in Cape Girardeau, because that was part of my territory, I'd always stop by and have dinner with her.
Nice.
And, I was the good grandkid, even though I'm not a grandkid.
Yes.
And so, she called me her boyfriend. And then when I stopped because I, changed jobs, now I'm her ex.
Wow. That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty darn funny.
The slate truck, let's get back to that because I'm fascinated by it.
Until mom calls again. Yeah. Right.
Right. Exactly. So here's why, because I don't think what we were talking about is explaining why I think it's really going to turn the industry on its head if it takes hold, is because with any vehicle you buy now, you can buy different levels, meaning different trim levels.
Sure.
You can buy one that's extremely basic, and you can buy one that's in the middle, and you can buy one that's extremely premium. But whatever you buy, you're only buying what's standard in that trim level. And then you can add things on top of that. But you can't take anything away from that trim level. So the biggest difference with the slate is a blank slate. It's literally, and I know this is way too simplified because it's not this, but it's literally wheels, a chassis, and some body panels with a steering wheel and seats. That's it. That is the base.
Pretty close to true.
Yep.
However, there are things that it comes with inherently, such as the fold down. It's like the Chevy Avalanche. It has the flop down rear into the bed.
But it has to have that because for it to be able to expand,
to transform, exactly right.
To transform.
Yep.
So there's certain things, and obviously they have to have certain things by law in there.
Sure.
Like they do have to have a backup camera,
tail lights.
They do, tail lights, stuff like that. But that aside, it is as base and basic as you can get, and you don't get trim levels. You take the bank slate, roll up windows, slate. So you get roll up windows, but you can buy it completely basic, and the most basic you can get it. Then you can add roll up windows later.
Can add
it's
roll
not like
up windows?
You can add power windows. Yeah. You can add more instrumentation in your instrument cluster.
Correct.
You can add, and it's onesies and twosies. It's not like here's a package with everything in it.
It's true.
No, you can literally go
for plus or minus. For plus or minus. Some people are going to like that. You can get on the request list. This is kind of what Ford did with the Bronco.
For $500.
No, 50.
Was it 50? I thought it was $500.
Nope, $50.
Wow.
I went on the website. Which is slatetruck.com. And I was going to, and they don't even hold you to it. They just you don't want to reserve whatever. But like the Bronco, here's how Ford used it. We have 400,000, 200,000 deposits and blah, 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 blah. Right. Now, these are people.
It's the Tesla model.
Who just, right. Well, mostly people who wrote checks figuratively, who put a deposit down. And what I want to know is how many never took delivery of one. That's what I want to know.
Well, I think no matter what brand, whether it's Tesla or Ford or anything like that, there's a mixture. There's some that just, they really didn't have an intention to do it. And then there are some that backed out because the production wasn't fast enough.
True.
And they're like, man, this is not the experience I was looking for.
Or they saw write-ups and they weren't excited about that. And so, so what it turns into, it's like any poll with hand raisers. It's someone who says, yep, that's the way I want it. This is the way I like to buy. And then they buy a completely different way. So hand raiser pulls to me are worthless. They're throwaways.
Well, yes, I agree with you. I think there are other things too, not just hand raiser pulls. I think, like you said, more information came out and people look at that information a little bit differently. Sure. It's kind of like there was a poll once that was done, not really even a poll. It was maybe, I guess you could call it a poll, where people said that they don't want a search engine to know any of their personal information because they don't want it out there. They don't want to be served personalized ads and blah, 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 blah. So for those people, the search engine did a study and shut off personalization. Mm-hmm. And then people were getting pissed because they weren't getting the information that they normally get in their search engine. And they're like, what do you think personalization is?
That's the point. And especially when it comes to that, I want personalization.
I do too.
And you know what? I'm willing to give up the privacy thing. Look, you know what? I figure that let's just pick one of them. Let's say that Google has information on 1 billion people.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not standing out in any meaningful way that they say, no. Did you see what John was looking for? He wanted to know how many licks it takes to get to the base of a Tootsie Pop. And so that's constantly in my search history. Well, that's privacy issues right there. But I'd like to know. And they know I like the chocolate ones. So I want to be fed those instead of the purple ones because they taste like blueberries, sort of. So, yes, I want personalization. Some people don't. That's fine. And you can do that. You can pull your cookies and you can have to, go through all the hoop jumping, and they do not do autofill searches, and they won't. And when you are trying to go to a website, they will not autofill for you. And you go, well, it did it before. Why isn't it doing? Because you got rid of your cookies. Right. Or you just don't want personalization. So, yeah.
I'm sure there are people that really don't, and
it's okay.
The vast majority of people don't even realize.
That's my contention.
And when they do, then they're like, oh, shit.
And those of us who do, it's fine. It's not.
Yeah.
Again, if it were something, maybe you shouldn't be searching for it if you don't want them to know. But it's not private.
There's a level of that too.
You can go to some of the Swiss cows or some of the other search engines that do not hold that information.
Yep. And there's so much you could do, but even at that, I don't even think that's 100% safe. I mean, you could go. So I have a VPN that will bounce off of 4 or 5 different servers. So I don't usually use that function, but I could go use a private browser using having everything disconnected, plus with my VPN bouncing off of 5 servers. There are still plenty of people that can find my information.
No question.
Even if I used it 24/7.
No question.
It's just out there.
I spend most of my time trying not to be very interesting, and it's working really well.
It is. That's why you have a podcast.
Yes, exactly. Not interesting at all. Watch my
podcast.
Motorhead Chef. You're right about that. Oh, thank you for the Motorhead Chef. And that is my most recent post, which I'm dealing with technology trying to get posted to YouTube, but on fasting, as I had mentioned earlier on. Oh, no, he's wonderful. It's not Elon. This is a new computer that I have. And instead of the desktop, which I've had a million times, this is a true desktop. It is. I'm not going to show you, but it's this big. This is the body of the computer.
The CPU.
Thank you. And it sits here on my desk and it's fine. And it's causing me some chagrin.
I'm sorry. Don't be chagrin.
It's just a little chagrin.
Chagrin. That would be a great title for a book.
Chagrin and Barrett.
Well, that would work too. That would be that's the sequel. I think it should be Chagrin and Sheboygan.
Okay. In Wisconsin, that would be a big seller.
Yeah.
And
that's what
Michigan.
I'm saying.
There's a Sheboygan in Michigan too.
I'm sure there's a Sheboygan in every state. Like a Princeton. There's a Princeton in almost every state.
Princeton, probably. Sheboygan, not quite as much.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I'm going to leave you on this. It is about the time that we wrap things up, but I saw something very interesting. I haven't gotten a response from either my wife or my daughter on it yet, but so I think I mentioned on here before, if I haven't, hey, this is some new information. Peyton wants to be on PoddiMouths. Peyton wants to be a kind of a game designer type person. She does want to do some of the coding, but doesn't want to be the coder. She just wants to be the designer. She wants to do the art stuff.
Okay.
And we looked up schools that are the top schools.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, which I thought was phenomenal, and I got a big eye roll on this one. The number one school for what she wants to do, University of Southern California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
I was
like,
heck yeah. Yep. Number two is Stanford. I would not have a problem with her going to Stanford.
Okay.
And number three is MIT.
Okay.
So she doesn't want to go to any of them. USC, she kind of like, just because dad went there, and she's got plenty of time. Don't worry. She might even change her idea of what she wants to do.
Possibly.
I did. I think my junior year, I decided I was going to do something completely different. Because originally, I don't know if I ever told you this, John. Originally, I was going into the golf industry. I was going to be I was going to go to college to be a golf course management person.
Kidding. Cool.
Yep. So,
awesome.
Like a teacher, I wanted to be a teaching pro.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's a whole other episode.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So MIT is the third one, and she has no intention to go in there, except I saw a post that says if you, while you're going to MIT, take certain classes, and I don't remember what they are specifically, but they are actual classes. If you take a certain laundry list of classes, MIT will give you a certificate in piracy. Like pirate, piracy.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's right up Peyton's alley. I'm still waiting for a response to that, but
in piracy,
they will give you a professional certificate, not professional. I guess I would call it a professional certificate in piracy.
That's probably what got the Houthis in trouble.
It probably is. Let me look up what those classes are, because let's see. I thought it was pretty, it was funny. It was funny. Okay.
Well, I mean, if it's
MIT,
that sort of a pirate, with the parrot and the hook arm and all of that, peg leg
porker.
Okay.
MIT will award a certificate in piracy if you take archery, which Peyton wants badly to take archery.
Okay.
Pistols, which I'm okay with that. Sailing and fencing as your required PE classes. Piracy. And this is the picture they show. Yep. See?
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that every employer would like to see on your resume.
Absolutely. I would.
I am a pirate. No, not just like the. Oh my gosh!
So,
yeah.
Anyway, I'm all for Peyton choosing MIT at this point.
We're going to need.
I would do.
Yeah, we're going to need some feedback from our listeners and viewers on the piracy degree. Yes, I have a degree in piracy.
Yeah,
I never would have guessed that. Peyton.
Not a degree, a certificate.
Whatever, same.
And that's not the same. Her degree is going to be in some computer science shit.
I have a computer science with a certificate.
With a certificate in piracy. Yep.
And they're going to think that you are
not hacker piracy.
Yeah, they're going to think that you're pirating movies or something like that. No, I attack. I steal ships.
I know how to fence.
I take over
sail.
Ships. Great. Super. That's going to come in handy.
I think so. I think so. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I support that certificate.
You know what? If it's a Steve the Pirate, like in Dodgeball, I'm all aboard.
You're all game for it?
Yeah, but probably not the Houthis
if she gets
attacking ships.
Absolutely not.
Let's not do that.
But if she gets that certificate, I'm going to buy her a parrot.
Oh, no.
And on that note, folks,
I'm going to poke one of her eyes out. What? That is not being a good father.
For that.
Oh. Wow.
All right, everybody.
On that note,
I'm going to call that one.
Thank you.
John and I both hope that you have a fantastic rest of your week. This is coming out on Tuesday, so you have just a few more days after you've listened to this, but I hope that it has brought you brought a smile to your face so you can get yourself through the rest of the week, because boy, do we need it. And folks, this is the PoddiMouths podcast. You can get all of the stuff from the PoddiMouths podcast, including merchandise and past episodes, by heading up to PoddiMouths.com, as well as going to see a link to Motorhead Chef and
Ding.
to Vehicle Nanny. So you can go look up vehicle.
If you're Norwegian, it's Vehicle Nanny.
It's a vehicle nanny.
Vehicle Nanny. Ole and Mina
Nanny.
over at Vehicle Nanny.
Ah, geez, it's a big time over there. Yeah, yeah. Okay, everyone. Have a good day there.
Yeah, hey there. Cry-eyed and talk to you soon there.
Yeah. See yas.